Today, June 9th, 2022, and this video is about the Follina exploit. Came out a couple weeks ago. Well, it's been known for a month or two. And gaining some momentum, maybe. When I first learned about this and did some research on it, I felt, I'm not too concerned about it. It doesn't sound very likely that it's going to get very big, but it could. When it's reported that there is a 0-day vulnerability in the wild, the word wild sometimes causes people to think that it's rampant and it's everywhere, and it's not. It just means that it's been found, it was out there somewhere, and it was discovered. It could become more prominent because of it's getting enough coverage in technical communities that people who have harmful intentions in mind could pick up on it and try to do something with it. The Follina vulnerability itself is not a threat. It is not going to do anything in and of itself, but it could be used by a bad person to design a threat. They can use that vulnerability. Think of it like this. I'm vulnerable to a traffic accident. My friend Ken Stout, I'm going to pick on him just to mention his name. He's a fellow YouTuber. He's vulnerable to in being involved in a traffic accident today. So Microsoft could prevent us from being affected by this vulnerability. To be continued later. I'm back after taking that client phone call. I could prevent Ken Stout from getting into a traffic accident today by suffocating him. If he's not breathing, if he's dead, he can't be in a traffic accident. Well, Microsoft could disable the MSDT feature in Microsoft Office products, which essentially is the vulnerability. It's the design of that creates the vulnerability. But there would be consequences, just like there would be consequences to suffocating Ken. That's a little bit of an extreme way to prevent him from getting into a traffic accident. I could go less extreme by preventing him from leaving his house. That also has consequences, and that's just not really called for. So by the same token, I don't think it's called for Microsoft to put out a fix through Windows Update for this vulnerability, in part because it's not widespread. Yes, it's discovered in the wild, but in targeted attacks. It's particularly been found in the Chinese government attacking people in the Tibetan society or culture. Please forgive me if I'm uninformed about Tibet. So if it becomes a bigger problem, Microsoft will probably step up and do something about that. Because of the attention that it's getting, it's possible that less motivated, less expertise threat actors or bad people might take that and create some kind of a threat that would be more widespread and aim its attack at the rest of us. So I want to talk about how you might come across this threat. If it does become rampant, how would you get it? And then I'm actually going to do the fix on my computer. The fix is very easy to accomplish, and for most people will not have any undesirable consequences because the MSDT, Microsoft Diagnostic Tool, I believe the name of it, has been included with every version of Microsoft Office for a long time. I saw one commenter on a YouTube video saying it's amazing that vulnerability would work in an older version of Office, even though that version of Office is no longer supported. Yeah, but the vulnerability still exists. It was a vulnerability of the way it was designed for you to actually suffer consequences due to this. A bad person would have to design a threat around this to include it into a Microsoft Office file. Most commonly, it's being reported as Microsoft Word, but I think it could be Microsoft Excel and maybe other Microsoft products also can be utilized. But Microsoft Word is so commonplace that that's more likely where it would happen. Then that file has to get to your computer somehow, so you would have to go to a website and download something. You might be downloading a Microsoft Word document, you might be downloading a zip file, you might be downloading maybe the agenda or the minutes for a club that you belong to. And the bad person has discovered a vulnerability in that website that that club uses. And he deposits, or perhaps he would download the minutes that were done in Microsoft Word for a meeting that they had and add this infection code or the code to that Word document and then put it back on that website, which means any of the members of that organization that download that file and either preview that document in Windows Explorer or open the document would instantly fall victim to whatever that person designed for that malware to do. It might be malware, it might be a virus, they might retrieve information from a computer, they might grab the file that contains all your Google Chrome passwords and download it to them. They might cause it to download some other malware from their website that they control and do more harm to your computer. So all it takes is previewing that document in File Explorer or opening the document. Even if you have macros disabled, this will still affect you in whatever way that person intended. It appears to me from one of the things that I saw, one or two of the things that I saw, that this malicious code is stored in the area of the document that contains the template information for the document. And it allows the code to utilize MSDT to do any command line prompt that is capable of being done on your computer. And your computer doesn't even have to have you don't have to be logged in with administrator rights on your computer for them to do the bad things that they want to do. So it's possible that that could become more rampant. One of the downsides to the evil person doing that is that it's going to be fairly easy for that to be traced back. I think that's just a suspicion. I think it would be pretty easy for the threat actor, the person who did that, to be found and prosecuted. Back last year, we had the print nightmare vulnerability that there was a lot of tech press about how bad this could be, and it never became a really big deal. So I kind of think this is probably not going to become a big deal, but the remediation steps for it are pretty easy, or the prevention steps. Remediation would be after the bad thing has happened. So the steps that you can take to prevent this from happening are pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. We're going to switch over to another computer here. I'm going to pause the recording to set that up. As we're going to this direction to show how to do that, I'm going to take a little side trip here because I found this just kind of funny and entertaining. The name Follina is named after Follina, Italy. And why was it named that? Was it first discovered there? No. Here's the explanation. The original infected word sample on Virus Total goes by the name, and here's the name. It's got a numerical name .doc. And notice these last 4 digits, 0438. That's just part of the name of the document. The number 0438 number is the dialing code for the area of Follina in northern Italy, and security research Kevin Beaumont, who wrote the first overview of the vulnerability, admits to unresolved issues with an Italian X. That's all. Okay, so it really has nothing to do with Follina, Italy. It's just coincidence that that document has those numbers in its name. One of the regular participants on my Saturday live streams, I do a live stream every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, where we discuss technical topics, or I connect remotely to somebody's computer to help them with a problem. There's a lot of technical people involved there. One of the people, Catherine Anna Hauserman, did us the courtesy of making a PDF file that has the steps for protecting yourself against this vulnerability. I've put it into my Google Drive, and I'll put a link in the description of this video that you can click on to download this. Now, wait a minute. Should you be downloading something from somebody that you don't know? If you're one of the regulars on my channel, I think you probably trust me well enough to download this. If you're not one of the regulars, should you really be downloading something from me if you don't know me and trust me yet? Probably not. I'm going to double click on this to show you what's contained in the document. So if you do download it, you want to look at it, open it and look at it and be sure this is all it is. Now it's a PDF file, so it's not going to contain anything that can be executed on your computer. What she's labeled it here as is MSDT Windows exploit in a command administration mode. Use the following command to back it up. So you can simply triple click on this line right here. Maybe you can't. Triple click didn't work for that. So I'll highlight it and press Control C to copy that line. And that's for exporting this registry key. What it's going to do is create a file, in this case on the root of your C drive. If you wanted to put it somewhere else, then you could change the location where it's going to store this. But it's going to export from this registry key. It's in the HKey classes root hive in the MSDT key, and it's going to save it to that file name. Once that's successfully backed up by doing that first command, then you can do this command, which is actually going to delete that key from your registry. You could go into the registry and manually maneuver to that folder and delete it yourself. Or you could even export it yourself from within the registry editor if you're comfortable with how to do that. Catherine has provided us these commands in this PDF file to just shortcut that. And then this is the command to restore the registry key later if you decide that you want to. Possibly. It's a remote possibility, but possibly you might find something on your computer that doesn't work properly anymore if it is trying to make use of MSDT. MSDT is Microsoft Diagnostic Tool. One of the things that I read about said it's there so that if you are on a phone support call with a Microsoft technician, they could ask you to do something that would utilize that to help solve a problem that exists on your computer. That's not going to be normally used by software that anybody would routinely have on their computer. Anyway, if you want to restore it, this is the DOS command prompt for doing that. Or you could simply browse to it in Windows File Explorer and double click on it. You'll get a message asking if you really want to import this into your registry. So in order to do these steps, what you do is click on the Start button, type CMD, and that'll give you a search result of command prompt. Now, if you know other methods to go to a command prompt, you can use those other methods. Or you could use a PowerShell prompt if you want to do it that way. It'll work either way. So now we need to run as administrator. Here's this option right here. I'll click on Run as Administrator. And then click Yes. That gets me a DOS command prompt. Now you saw me a little earlier copy this command. So if I just press Control V for paste, I get that command here. And now press the Enter key. And it says the operation completed successfully. And now I can go copy this next command. Just highlight that entire line, press Control C for copy, and I'll do Alt Tab to get back to that command prompt window. Alt Tab will switch you to other windows that you have open on your computer. Now let go of the Alt key, click inside this window, and Control V. I probably did not have to click inside the window. It was sufficient to just switch to it. Now press the Enter key. That's going to delete that registry key. Notice there was no confirmation prompt. It just deletes it right away. Then if I go we're done. That's all you needed to do to fix the computer. I didn't see in the instructions where you have to restart it before that actually takes effect. You probably do have to restart your computer before that actually takes effect. I'm going to exit from there by typing the word exit, press enter. Then I'll go to File Explorer. This is just a demonstration purpose. We're already done with the fix. I'm going to open File Explorer. This gets me to a folder where I have a copy of that file that Catherine Hauserman created for us. I'm going to come down here to the C drive just to show you that backup file. Here is that MSDT reg key backup. That's the file that we created with this command up here. Now, if I double click on that, it's going to add that line back into the registry. Here we go. Double click and then click on yes. And here's the confirmation window saying adding information can unintentionally change or delete values, cause components to stop working, yada, yada, yada. Are you sure you want to continue? I'm going to click yes. The keys and values have been successfully added to the registry. So that's the full circle round trip to get back to here. I do not intend to do this on all of my computers unless it becomes more rampant. I do not intend to do it on any of my client computers unless it becomes more rampant. At this point, it just doesn't look like big enough threat that I'm going to take any time to pursue it. That's it for this video. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.